Hello, this is a screencast-o-matic about the program Plickers, which you can use as an assessment tool. You can actually do a formative or a summative assessment on it. Some people just prefer to do it as formative, but I really believe you could do both and make it very easy on yourself. So the website is plickers.com. And what I really like about this website is that it is free. Hey, I like a free website that's going to allow me to assess my kids, and that my principal's going to like that it's a free program. And actually, if you kind of look into the people that do it, let's take a look here. You can actually look about them. Go to the bottom of the website. They're really committed to doing this for teachers, which just makes me like the program even more. They kind of have a sense of humor about them, and I like it. Hey, they're even hiring. So what is Plickers? Plickers is basically you create a test for your class. You can either do multiple choice or true false. Those are the only options right now. But I'm sure they might come up with more later. It wouldn't be that hard to do, um, other options at this point. So what you basically do is you log in. Okay. So I'm going to sign in because I've already created a login. Okay. And so then you have library. Library is all the questions you've ever created. Okay, so let's make a new question. Okay, here's the new question. Do we like Plickers? I spelled right. And then you do, yeah, yes, no, maybe, eh. So, and then the correct answer. And you can actually leave this blank. This is an opinion thing, so you can leave it blank. But if you wanted yes to be the answer, you would select correct. Okay? And then you can either save or save and create new, meaning you're going to make a lot of questions. All right, so let's save that. So then it's at the top of my page. Okay? So the next option I want to go over is classes. So you click on classes. So I did a demo class. Then all you would do to add your class, you add a new class. Let's name our class. Let's go to 3rd grade Mrs. Smith. Okay, and then we can select the year. 3rd grade. We'll just take Ms. Smith, 3rd grade, select the subject. Look at all these subjects. You can even put other. So we're doing music. So and then do class color. Green's my favorite color, so that's what I'm doing. So then click save. Okay? Then you add a roster. Okay? You can even print a roster. So let's add a roster. You can even paste into your roster. Now how neat is that? And it just goes ding, 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 ding. That way you don't have to type all the names. But if you didn't want to type all the names, just add in Bob, Adam, John, Lee, Julie. You just add it like that. Okay? So then, as you'll notice, there's a 1 beside it. Okay? What that 1 indicates is that person's card. Okay? And we'll get to that in a minute. Everybody has cards that you print off the website. They're free, minus the cost to print. And we'll go over that later. So if you'll notice over here, it says available cards. That tells us how many cards are available on the program. So if you go down here, 63 cards. Well, most classrooms don't have 63 students. I have been in some band classrooms that have had over 100. So you would have to create a second roster and scan through it twice. Okay? So let's go to the cards. Okay? So these are free, but you can also buy them on Amazon here. And it's a matte laminated version. And the reason that is important is because one of the tips that they gave for this program was to not use a glossy lamination. The scanner doesn't pick it up. Okay? So they have a standard where you got 40 cards, 2 cards per sheet. Okay? Expanded. They have a large font for like maybe younger students or anyone who may have trouble reading the letter answers. Large cards. If you've got a large classroom, maybe you're in a gym or an auditorium, And then large cards expanded to just where it's 63. Can I use the same cart for multiple classes? Yes, okay, which is great. That way you're not printing them out and getting them out each time. So you could laminate them, put them on like a little, popsicle stick. You have that option to do. Tells how to print them, more questions, so things of that nature. So going back to Amazon, so they've got these nice plicker sets. They're really nice. And they are $20, and that's not terrible. For any kind of self-assessment that could last you years. Personally, I know how kids are. They like to chew on things. They like to peel things apart. So I would just print them at your local printer, and then hopefully they don't destroy them after one day. So let's look at the cards. So let's click on Standard, which I've already done. And here's what it looks like. Now, what do you notice here? They're all different shapes. But the basic function, I'm going to blow this up a little bit, is that it has A, B, C, D. So if you want them to answer A, you would have this A at the top. Or so for this, they're showing me that answer D is right. If you notice, they're all different shapes and got little squares missing out of them. And that's great, because then your kids can't look behind them and go, oh, everybody's got to answer. Everybody's little castle shape is at the top here. I should move that way. So it's a really, really brilliant design on their part. So just kind of get an idea. So I just printed the first two because it's just me, and I didn't want to waste paper on my home printer for that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how you would use this program. So let's go back here. So let's go to my classes. So I've got a demo class. It's full of 9 students of names I just made up. So and then I've got a library of questions that I want to answer. Okay, so now you can put this on any iPhone, iPad, Android device that has those operating systems. So you don't need an expensive phone to do it. You do need an internet connection though. So it's something to take advantage of. So if you don't, my mom, she does not have a cell phone, refuses to get one. She's been teaching 35 years. She will refuse to do a cell phone. But for someone like her, you could get, an iPad. If that's a little out of your budget, then you can get like the cheapy Android tablets, put the program on there, and use it for that. I personally have an iPhone, so I downloaded. Sorry about that little technical difficulty. I actually ended up having to restart the reflector. So for an iPhone, you bring up the screen at the bottom, and you will press this little button here, and it will search for your computer. My computer's name is Smart Alex. That's just what I named it to be funny. So anything I do on this phone, you're going to be able to see. So let's close out of this. I'm going to open the Plickers app. It was a free app. Again, best price ever. So as you can see, it shows my classes. It matches what you see here. Mrs. Smith, demo class. So we're going to go into the demo class. Okay. All right. And now you can see my 2 questions. Okay. So I'm going to hit here. All right. And then we're going to go to live view so we can see what's going to show up on my projection screen. I'm going to shrink this down just a hair for a minute so you can see my students. The saxophone is made of brass, so it must be a brass instrument. True or false? And you link it by using A or B. Okay? So on my phone, blow this back out again. Okay? At the bottom here, and you can't see it real well because of this little trial mode ad, it says scan. So I'm going to hit scan. Okay? And so I'm going to have, I've got 2 cards. Now you'll notice at the top it's got everybody's name in my class, how many people picked A, the wrong answer, and B. And the students can't see this. This is on my phone or tablet. Okay? So I pick it up, and okay, it scanned that. They gave the wrong answer. So then I go here, and I scan here. Now I did try this earlier without the lights on because I don't like lights, and it was not successful. It did not pick it up. So you can't really do it if you're doing a projector with the lights off. You have some type of light on the cards. You may have to play around with that. Okay, so then at the bottom, I hit that check mark. Okay, and it goes back to here, and it tells me that 50% of the kids got it right and 50% got it wrong. Okay. So that's some of the things you can do on the phone. Okay, so let's say I'm going to pick Mrs. Smith's class. Okay, So if you'll notice, there's no questions here in this section, okay? So I need to either create a question, or I can just do one kind of on the fly, all right? Or I can go to my library of questions so I can be prepared. So I can pick a question, the flute is a woodwind instrument, okay? And I can add it to the queue down here at the bottom. So it is in my queue of questions. Or I can scan it now. So here is my queue. So I just click on that. And then at the bottom of the screen, click on scan. The flute is a woodwind instrument. So let's first have this person get it wrong. Sometimes you do have to kind of poke around to it, I'm not going to lie. But eventually what will happen is it will pop up. See, you see that little pink there, Adam B. That's his answer. And then let's give this person the right answer. So you may have to kind of, so Bob came up in green. Reddish pinkish for right, green for wrong. Okay, so we're done with that part of it. So I click there and I can go back to my test and see everything is over. So that's what you see on the phone. Kind of neat, very simple. It's a little difficult to be recording on this and scanning it, but you know, we made it through this. Okay, so I'm going to close this program out. And we'll go back here. So I've taken my test, and you know, if I'm just giving a summative assessment, a formative assessment, then you know I'll have my answers right there. You can get a graph on there. See, hey, they got 50% right. You can click reveal answer. Hey, green is right, red is wrong. So, and you can even sort it by first name, last name, card number, all sorts of things. So, yeah, I've got this. Where's the data saved? So you can go up here to library, click on library, or excuse me, reports, hello. So I can go on the question history. I can see how often I've asked this question. It will show the date, class that took it, and how well each class did. So I can see if, was it me, maybe the class was having an off day, you know, things of that nature. So that's kind of a nice report to see. And you can even filter it by the demo class, with only that class, or by Mrs. Smith class only. Kind of neat. The other report you can do is a score sheet. Now, some of the people that I've researched have said, you know, I wouldn't do this for a summative assessment. I don't see why not. It would be very easy to do, and it would all be graded for you. How easy can that get? So this is the date. Today's the 16th, 17th. So I click apply, and this tells me the person's name, how they did, the question, so we kind of get a reminder. Now I can go down here and I can print reports for individual students, okay? And it'll actually show us a preview. So this is the demo class, you know, true, false, answer choices, and you know, what you got right. So then look here, got this wrong, 0%. Grades it for you, 67%. So I don't know why she said that. And then, of course, I didn't do these, so you can kind of tell who's absent and whatnot, and you know, maybe even give them a test later. So then I can also export it to an Excel file. Open that up. Has the total percentage, correct, answered, you know, the question. I like that it has the question. I really do. You know, a lot of times I find faults in a lot of programs. I really can't find that with this. There's not much you can do. Yes, you have to input all of the student names, but you don't have to do that. You know, say for like, you know, kindergarten or first grade, you know, that may not be necessary. Or, you know, if you're just doing it for basic summative or formative purposes, you know, you don't necessarily have to enter the name. You can just hand the cards out and get just a, you know, a fingerprint pulse on what you're teaching. So that is plickers. So you see what happens on the phone and then what on the device. And then also there's a help section as well that's always very helpful. You can ask them questions. They have a presentation kit, cards, scanning, all sorts of, they even have webinars in this. It's a really great program and really put out with some really great people. That's all I got for that. So I hope you liked my video on plickers.